Point Park men's basketball captures 3 straight wins, Pioneer Wrestling makes history, and the Winter Olympics are right around the corner. It's time to come on down to Pioneer Sideline. Good evening and welcome to Pioneer Sideline. I'm Bryn Reese, back for another week of sports news. We have all the Point Park and national news for you, as well as some conversations on the Pittsburgh Steelers hiring. To start, Edmi Dallas on the Point Park men's basketball's electric run.
That's right, Bryn. Point Park men's basketball stepped off the court with 5 double-figure scorers this past Monday after its electric win against Davis and Elkins. The Pioneers were led by the reigning Mountain East Conference Player of the Week, senior guard Aiden Anderson. This past Friday, Anderson tied his career high for points in a single game with 33. In the Monday game, he came out with 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. Grant Welch achieved his first double-double in a Point Park uniform. Welch made 6 three-pointers in the game and finished the night with 18 points and 11 rebounds. Jalen Stewart and Greg Williams each earned 17 points, while Caden Warner finished with 12 points and 5 assists. As for the game itself, the Pioneers capitalized from behind the arc with 56.5% accuracy. On the floor, the men shot 52.5%. With these numbers, along with Point Park's defense, keeping Davis and Elkins to 41% from the floor and 23% from the three, the Pioneers were able to bring it home with 91-77, making this past Monday their 3rd win in a row. The Pioneers have 2 MEC matchups coming up this Wednesday. They will be looking for their 4th straight win, going up against Glenville State at the CCAC Allegheny Gym. Next, they will travel to Athens, West Virginia to play against Concord University this Saturday. Good luck, Pioneers. Now back to Bryn on a recent landmark for Point Park men's wrestling.
Yes, Point Park men's wrestling earned 3 placements after competing in its first ever conference championship on Saturday. The Mountain East Conference Wrestling Championship featured 5 Point Park wrestlers, all of whom are true freshmen. Freshman Preston Chandler led the way for the Pioneers with a 4th place finish in the 133-pound weight class. He went 2-2 on the day. It's safe to say Chandler made waves in his first collegiate championship, beating out the 4 and 6 seeds as the 7 seed in his bracket. Liam Hine and Charles Perkins both placed 6th in the 149-pound and 174-pound divisions, respectively. Wrestlers Aiden Burford and Jake Candace did not place in their brackets, both going winless on the day. Coach Zach Meiser was hired in May 2024 to spearhead the program's inaugural season. He had a full academic year to recruit and develop the team before its first season of competition this year. Meiser said, quote, "There are a lot of growing pains in a brand new program, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to lead these young men, and I'm hoping the experience will light a fire under them that will continue for the remainder of the season," end quote. Meiser recruited a 10-man roster consisting strictly of 2 true freshman athletes. The fresh 5 who went on to the MEC championship had to face some of the country's best collegiate wrestlers. Meiser said, quote, "Just seeing how good some of these teams are shows that there is still a lot of work to be done, but we have competed and have guys that can have a lot of success in the MEC," end quote. As a team, the Pioneers placed 7th in the MEC championship, tying Davis and Elkins for this final spot with 22.5 points. Now that's all for Point Park sports, but we have a lot more in the week ahead. Men's and women's basketball take on Glenville State at home on Wednesday, February 3rd. Men's wrestling duels Davis and Elkins on Friday. Men's lacrosse makes its program debut in Virginia on Saturday afternoon. And indoor track and field travels to State College to compete in the Sykes and Sabach Invitational. Tune in for more Pioneer updates right here next week. And as always, go Pioneers! After the break, Pittsburgh Penguins news and national updates that you don't want to miss. We will be right back. Welcome back. Becca Trulich is in the studio with an update on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Becca?
The Penguins are looking like a force this season, and there is still a lot of hockey left to play. Saturday night, the team hosted the New York Rangers. Right wing Anthony Mantha and center Noel Acciari were both able to score twice, respectively, against Rangers goalie Jonathan Quick and give the Pens an early cushion in the first period. Pittsburgh finished the game with a 6-5 win, moving themselves to second place in the Metropolitan Division. Before this game, the team honored the 10th anniversary of the 2016 club that won the Stanley Cup. The Penguins' 6-game winning streak was snapped after a loss to the Ottawa Senators last night. The Pens held a strong lead in the first period, but Ottawa tied the game early in the second. Ottawa then got a 1-point lead in the third, but Tommy Novak quickly equalized for Pittsburgh. Ottawa won in a game-winning goal that went under review, but then was ruled a goal. The Pens lost to the Senators 2-3. This is the last game before the Winter Olympics. The team has 4 members playing in the games. Artis Shilas will be playing for Latvia, Sidney Crosby captain for Canada, and Erik Karlsson and Rickard Rakell both playing for Sweden. The team held a send-off for the Olympians Monday night. Now, as of today, forward Brian Rust will be returning to the lineup after serving his 3-game suspension. This suspension comes after the NHL Department of Player Safety cited an illegal check to the head of Vancouver Canucks center Brock Besser. This is the first Rust has been suspended in his nearly 700-game NHL career. Are the Penguins strong enough to make it to the playoffs or even farther? Only time is going to be able to tell. Back to you, Bryn, for Pittsburgh Sports Trivia.
You heard that right. We are back for Sideline Trivia. I'm joined by Peyton Celesti, Ryan Thiele, and Nick Shermito to see if they know their Pittsburgh sports facts. First person to answer each question gets priority, but the rest of you will have a chance to steal if incorrect. Are you ready?
Yeah. Potentially.
All right, to start it off, we have a Pittsburgh Penguins question. Who was the starting left winger in Game 4 of the 2016 Stanley Cup?
Chris Kunitz.
No.
Connor Sherry.
Yes. Peyton has a point. Nick, you're
Really?
cooked. Yes.
No, it's pronounced Sherry. It's Connor Sherry.
No, Peyton gets the point.
Oh my god.
Oh, God.
Okay, Peyton starting out with 1 point. Next question, we have a Pittsburgh Steelers question. Who did the Steelers beat in the 2011 AFC Championship to make the big
The
game?
New York Jets.
They were tied, dog.
You said it first.
I
Okay.
did. I get the point. I
you
said
guys,
New York
closest
first.
person to guess what the final score was.
24-17.
What do you think?
28. Oh my gosh. 28-10.
It was 24-19. Peyton, you will get the point. So Peyton has 2 points.
Oh my gosh.
Next
I'm
question is a Pirates
All right,
question.
lock in.
Who pitched last on the Pirates' most recent World Series win in 1979?
Kenta Colby.
Yes, Peyton is like.
Who knows
that?
Who knows
the last
that?
pitch. That's the easiest
Oh, it's
thing.
been 40 years.
I don't know what to tell you. You had to be more prepared,
Okay.
I guess. I don't know.
We need to lock
I didn't
in.
prepare at all.
Come
but-
on.
Okay, come
These are
on.
coming
We need
from-
to
Come on,
lock
let's
it.
go.
Okay,
bring
we
it.
have 3 more questions, so we'll need one of you guys to
still
pull
can
through with
tie.
this. We can still
Bet.
tie up Peyton. Next one is a Penguins question.
Okay.
Which NHL team did the Pens acquire goalie Tom Barrasso in a 1988 trade? This is probably the trickiest.
Oh
That's
my
way out of my
gosh.
This
league,
is
bro.
tricky.
Was it the Devils?
No.
Oh my
The
gosh.
Islanders.
No.
Rangers?
No. Any more guesses? You guys can kind of keep listening.
Oh my
Is it
gosh.
the Bruins? The Bruins?
No.
I'm just naming teams.
Nick, you look like it's on the tip
We
of
were in
your
the
tongue.
80s. So Winnipeg
Oh
was
my-
still. Was it Winnipeg?
No.
It was not Winnipeg.
Who
I know
was
that.
this guy's name?
Tom Barrasso,
Tom
right?
Barrasso.
Barrasso.
They got him from, oh my gosh.
10,
I'm selling!
9. All right.
The
That's-
Flyers.
It was the Buffalo Sabres.
Oh my gosh, the most irrelevant team of all time.
We have Peyton in the lead with 3 points and Thiele and Shermito with none. Next is a Steelers question. Which
got
Steeler caught the 90 longest pass play in 1981?
Can you repeat that?
Lynn Swan?
Which Steeler caught the 90 longest pass play in
90 yard?
Yes.
Is it a 90-yard
yes.
pass?
Oh, okay.
Lynn Swan?
No.
Stallworth? John Stallworth?
No.
What year was it?
1981.
1981?
This one's also a
Was it a
tricky one.
playoff game or was it in a regular season game?
I don't
Rocky
know.
Blower, things like
Blyer.
Blyer?
Rocky Blyer.
Nope.
No.
I'm trying to think of her.
I'd have to know, like,
It's not Franco, because Franco.
No, Franco's a running back. So
Yeah, it wouldn't have been
makes
him.
sense.
From Bradshaw to Mark Malone. Nothing? All right. Next question, a Pirates question.
Oh my
Who
gosh.
was the last pitcher to win 20 or more games for the Pirates?
John Candelaria.
No. Close.
Oh,
Not close. But
John Smiley.
yes. Peyton beat you guys up with 4 points to take the
we're
lead.
bad.
This was the worst performance in history.
Nick, last time you were here with us, you won, and now this was your first loss on Sideline Trivia, but
This
join
is
us
the only
next time,
loss.
yeah? Only loss, that's
Only
true.
loss.
Next, more breaking sports news. Don't go anywhere.
It's a tough crowd.
Welcome back. Now, Layla Shervon reports on a former Olympian who's getting all the press for all the wrong reasons. Layla?
For the past 10 months, a well-known name in the snow sports world is at the center of one of the most fall-from-grace stories in recent sports history. Ryan Wedding, a former Olympic snowboarder from Canada, was wanted for allegedly being the head of a transitional drug trafficking operation, moving large amounts of cocaine through Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. This case is said to be one of the largest drug trade networks linked to the Sinaloa cartel. In March of 2025, Wedding was placed on the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitive list, with a reward of up to $15 million offered for information leading to his capture, making him have one of the most significant bounties ever for a fugitive with Olympic ties. The U.S. Department of Justice said the alleged activities include not only drug distribution and money laundering, but also multiple murders and witness intimidation. Wedding was arrested on January 26 in Mexico, ending over a decade-long run, and was later brought to the U.S. federal court, where he pled not guilty. His next federal court status hearing is on February 11th and a tentative trial date on March 24th. Despite the trial date set, Wedding's attorney, Anthony Colombo, indicated that the date is too soon given the complexity of the case and the volume of evidence, anticipating a 6-month delay. He is currently being held in custody in California without bond. This investigation is far from over, and for now, Ryan Wedding's name no longer represents an Olympian, but one of the most dramatic and disturbing reveals of sports history. Next, Nick Schermito has the scoop on the 2026 Olympic hockey landscape. Nick?
The 2026 Olympics are just a week and a half away, and for the first time since 2016, the NHL is sending players to the Olympics. For the first time, players like Connor McDavid, Nathan MacKinnon, Matthew and Brady Tkachuk, and Leon Draisaitl will all get to represent their country on the world's biggest stage. Notably, some of the league's biggest stars were snubbed in representing their country. For Canada, the notable omission of Connor Bedard made waves across the NHL, especially with the inclusion of second-year player Macklin Celebrini. The United States also decided to take forwards Brock Nelson and Vincent Trocheck and defenseman Seth Jones over the likes of forwards Jason Robertson, Cole Caulfield, and defenseman Lane Hudson, drawing uproar from USA fans. Even with the notable snubs, both teams are still stacked and will be in competition for the gold medal. I am joined by Ryan Jones to discuss who we think may take home the gold. Ryan, welcome.
Thanks,
Thank you
Nick.
for joining me.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Of course. So first, before I just want to discuss, I mentioned some of the snubs who, for both Canada and the U.S. here. What are your takes on that?
Now, I know that both Jason Robertson and Cole Caulfield are two of the biggest missed opportunities for Team USA, but we have to focus on Canada. You're wearing Canada red, so we have to talk about it. Connor Bedard not being a part of that team is just absolutely abysmal. And I know you mentioned Macklin Celebrini in his second year. Bedard's been playing in the league for 3. Now, I understand he had an injury that he had to worry about, but he's already been back for almost a month. And the fact that the Olympics don't start for a little bit, it's so unbelievably wrong. And they asked the Canadian head coach, they talked to the coaching staff, and they said that this injury did not have any effect whatsoever on why they didn't choose him. So I just think that is just an awful decision.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I believe, if I remember correctly, at the time, Bedard was still top 5 in points, I believe.
Yeah, he's still in top 5 points, and he's continuing. Even after the injury, he continues to put up these points. We just saw him against Pittsburgh. I know they didn't play as well, but he put up just an unbelievable outing, even though they were down. We saw him in the World Juniors. That's a guy you need to have.
Absolutely.
Obviously, in Chicago, he can't really play as well because he has no one around him. You saw him in the World Juniors. He had a good team. He's going to play well in the Olympics. And you say you want to keep Canada. You want Canada to keep bringing home gold. You have a sharp U.S. team that is looking to take that number 1 spot away. And the fact that you miss an opportunity like that is just crazy.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, kind of just going off of that, you mentioned the U.S. who wants to take it. There's other countries too. There's Czechia, there's Germany even with Stutzler and Draisaitl. There's a bunch of teams that could take gold here. So my question for you is, who do you think ultimately takes gold here?
Who I think takes gold, I think it's going to go down to the obvious two. It's going to be Canada versus the United States. And that's going to be an unbelievable gold medal game. Now, I know there's people like Czechia. Now, Czechia is a good team. They're going to be a good underdog, but it's going to go down to, of course, the top 2, the U.S. and Canadian teams. Now, who I think is going to take gold, I think it's going to be Canada. I do not see the United States being able to. I think they've made more mistakes in Canada, especially for roster decisions. But I think that Canada is, I want to say, more mature when it comes to this Olympic standpoint, and I think overall they're going to come out on top.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't count out Sweden or Finland either.
No, not at all. I think it's going to be very close, but overall Canada is going to take number 1.
Now that's all from us. Ethan Van Dusen has the latest on the Premier League team turning things around.
Manchester United is back in the headlines of the Premier League soccer, but this time for good reasons. After finishing 15th in the Premier League and recording the least amount of points in their 34 years in the league, Manchester United has completely turned their club around as they sit in 4th in the Premier League with only 16 more matches to play. With the additions of Matthias Cunha and Brian Mbeumo, Manchester United has rediscovered their offense as they sit 3rd in the Prem with 44 goals since the firing of Ruben Amorim. Man United looks to be playing on all cylinders as they won 3 consecutive games and haven't conceded a loss since December 21st. New intern head coach Michael Carrick has re-implemented the 4-2-3-1 formation, which provides more stability defensively and enforces more aggressive attacking. Captain midfielder Bruno Fernandes has been contributing consistently throughout the year with 17 points and is truly the leading force of this Man United team. As his team progresses in the season, they must prioritize the importance of returning to European football next year, which means they must finish 4th in the Premier League. If Man United can continue to play with cohesiveness and passion, there is no doubt in the soccer world that they will return to the prestigious standard that the club has set for itself over the years. Back to you, Bryn.
And that is all for your news this evening. Next, we'll be back with our Case of the Week after the break.
Take them, cue them, open their mics.
Today marked the 1-year anniversary of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette strike.
Park University just hosted a campus-wide meeting.
Plans for the rapid transit bus line are not set to conclude until 2025.
Welcome back. The Pittsburgh Steelers has hired Mike McCarthy as their next head coach to replace Mike Tomlin. I'm Ryan Thiele. I'm joined by Anthony Van Duzen, Peyton Celesti, Nathan Shivens to debate our thoughts on the hiring. Hey guys, how are you guys doing today?
Oh, I can't wait to talk about Mike McCarthy.
So I'm going to get started. With you, Ethan. This is the question I'm going to start out with is, what were your initial thoughts versus your thoughts sitting here today?
Yeah, I was a little shocked. I thought the firing of Tomlin, or him backing off, but it was kind of mutual, was a good move for the Steelers, and you could see there was like a sigh of relief from the fans, but you kind of just added a carbon copy of Mike Tomlin. So I'm not really sure what the direction of the Steelers is, but we'll see as the future goes on.
Do you agree with that, Peyton? Go ahead.
I hate this narrative that Mike McCarthy is the same coach as Mike Tomlin. He has the same stats as John Harbaugh. He has the same stats as Sean Payton. And the main difference between Mike Tomlin and Mike McCarthy, he's going to hire the right people around him, right? Look at the O-line coach, experience in Green Bay, built great O-lines in Green Bay. You brought in a defensive coordinator who's much better than Terrell Austin ever was. And Mike McCarthy running the offense, he's produced top 5 offenses, top 10 offenses in more than half of the years he's been a coach, right? And he's easily the best offensive coach the Pittsburgh Steelers have had since Bruce Arians. And don't tell me Todd Haley was a good offensive coordinator. I could have been the offensive coordinator of that team, and they would have been good with all that talent. So this coaching staff is much, much better and much more diverse with Mike McCarthy than Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, Nathan.
Yeah, so initially there was just a lot of outrage, right? Mike McCarthy, we want a young, innovative offensive mind, right? That was the narrative. Or defensive mind like a Chris Shula. And so a lot of people were just hating on, I think, Mike McCarthy unfairly, just because you mentioned his resume. He stacks up with a Sean Payton, right? With a Mike Tomlin, with a John Harbaugh, just in terms of overall stats, regular season, playoff success. And the big difference, I think, his ability to call the plays. You mentioned offensively, there's not been really any offensive minds of note in a very long time, since probably Bruce Arians. I think Mike McCarthy brings that. I think he brings a knowledge of his side of the ball that we just hadn't had in Pittsburgh with the Steelers in a long time.
So real quick, I want to dive in. The thing about McCarthy is that I'm a little on the fence about is his age.
Right.
He's around the 60, 70-year-old range. Now, that's not the future of the Steelers. You got to have a coach. We're known for having, 3 coaches in 60 years of being here? So what's the point of hiring a guy that's 60, 70 years old and not have somebody in the future that can lead the team more than 5 to 6 years?
Yeah, and sorry,
Go ahead.
a little pushback on your guys' note. I feel like you can give him John Harbaugh that comparison, but Sean Payton, he's had 4 13-win seasons. He's one of the best offensive minds in the game. And when we talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's not like, he's going into this really good offense. There's question marks in almost every position. Like DK Metcalf, are you going to trade him? Are you going to keep him? There's not a lot of depth in the wide receiver room, the tight end room. O-line's a little shaky. I don't really know much of the running back situation. I feel like when you bring in a guy that's kind of already been there, done that, and we know what we're going to get from him, but there's a lot of question marks surrounding your offense. It's like, what's the point? Like, where is this going to lead to?
Mike McCarthy took over a Dallas Cowboys team that was struggling. I believe they were 8-8 when he took over. Led them to 3 12-win seasons. Made Dak Prescott into the quarterback he is today. Hired Kellen Moore. Had Dan Quinn. Got Brian Schottenheimer. We see how he calls plays. He's a pretty good play caller.
What do they do in the playoffs, though?
Agreed.
That's a great point, and that's the knock on McCarthy, is that his teams aren't necessarily always buttoned up. But I think he's going to provide, in terms of play calling, in terms of coaching, things that Mike Tomlin didn't have. And just because Mike McCarthy's old doesn't mean he can't win and he can't retool and rebuild, right? For the next coach, you would think would be after his 5-year contract is up.
I think at this stage, you don't need to have a young offensive or defensive mind, just a young coach like we've seen the Steelers have, the last couple coaching cycles, right? This is a team, you talk about the questions. I think you look at the running back room, you hope to get Gainwell back, but that's pretty stable right now. It's a younger team than people think. There's a couple guys that are older that people kind of dwell on, like Cam Hayward, like a Jalen Ramsey on the defensive side. But the defensive line is young. You got Joey Porter Jr. I think this is a team that with a coach like Mike McCarthy, you kind of plug and play. You got a lot of draft picks. You got cap space. I think you got to figure out this TJ Watt situation. He's regressed every season. They gave him a contract extension. That's a front office decision last season. But I think there's a lot for Mike McCarthy to work with.
Real quick before you get in, everybody's mentioned our roster, everything we need to do. What would you guys like to see Mike McCarthy do in day one with this roster as we sit here today? I'm going to start with you.
I think give Will Howard a shot. I feel like his resume is deserving of a shot in the NFL. Obviously, he didn't throw a pass in the preseason. He hurt his thumb. But I feel like watching him at Ohio State, he's a young and he's a good player. He's talented. He's smart. He has the good attributes. And I just feel like giving him a shot and just seeing how it goes, you're really in a situation where you have nothing to lose. There's no depth in the QB room. You could add another Aaron Rodgers, bring him back, but, I mean, what are you going to get out of him? Maybe a wild card position, but I don't know. I feel like Will Howard, give him a shot. If it doesn't work out, start the rebuild. But for sure, give him a shot.
Well, I think they need to draft a quarterback in the later rounds. You got to bring in some competition for Will Howard. You can't just give a 6th-rounder the job without some sort of competition. We really don't know what Will Howard can do. But I'm going to go to the defensive side of the ball. What has been the main issue? Mike McCarthy said we're still going to run the 3-4. The main issue has been the middle linebacker core, from John Bostic in 2017 to Patrick Queen, who's extremely overpaid and overrated. He'll somehow be on the NFL top 100 somehow. But Mike Tomlin could not evaluate the middle linebacker position, and Mike McCarthy has to get guys who are going to fill the gaps and play good coverage over the middle of the field. How many times have we seen the Steelers get killed over the middle of the field, and then their offense not using the middle of the field as well?
Yeah, back to quarterback. I think there's a lot of uncertainty, obviously, with the Steelers at quarterback. I think you got to give Will Howard a shot, right? But I think you got to bring somebody in not named Aaron Rodgers, because at this point, you know what you're going to get with Aaron Rodgers. There is a ceiling, unfortunately. And I think a guy like Malik Willis, obviously trying to draft a quarterback, maybe even a Mac Jones or whoever, because Mac Jones, he had success with San Francisco in a good offensive system. So I think there's a lot of options. There's a lot of names, quarterback-wise, on the market this offseason. There always is. But can you find that diamond in the rough, like a Sam Darnold maybe, for the Steelers in free agency? And it'll be key to see if McCarthy can be a quarterback whisperer and develop a quarterback like his reputation is.
All right, now this last question is going to be a real quick yes or no answer. Do you think this is enough for a playoff win?
No.
This year, I got to see what happens in the offseason. I can't really answer that yet. I just can't.
Yeah, I agree, but I think it all depends on the quarterback at this juncture, because with Will Howard, I just don't see it this year.
I'll say this, within Mike McCarthy's tenure, he will win multiple playoff games.
All right.
That's my prediction.
Well, that's all the time we have this week. Be sure to join us next week at the same Pioneer time, the same Pioneer channel, and the same Pioneer Sideline.